Now, is the word totally illegal to say Hitler?
You can say Hitler, but you can.
You should not move your hand by saying Hitler.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say Heil Hitler. That's.
I'm going to say Hail Führer, or is that the version?
Goodness.
Hail Führer.
You don't have any video cameras in here, do you?
They don't even use Führen anymore, which means to lead.
I watched Downfall, it's a great movie. Downfall, I don't know what's, I think in German it's Der Untergang, or
I don't understand.
it's in English it's Downfall, it's a documentary about Hitler's last days
Yeah,
in the bunker.
yeah,
It's a German documentary. I find it very good.
yeah.
What's Downfall in German?
Hitlers Niedergang, Hitlers Untergang, Hitlers Sturz.
I don't think Hitler was a very intelligent person. He just was a great speaker. Great speaker, and he could touch the people. The heart of
Well,
the people.
Yeah, but we know intelligence is not necessary.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
was-
but
he was not-
the other side of it is that means the Germans weren't very intelligent people.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Right, exactly.
That's what Bodo says.
They say the same of the Chinese, that they're not very smart, but they're good followers, so that's why it's working. You don't need that many smart people.
See, I would disagree. I'd say the Chinese are smart. I mean, I've been there, worked there, but every dog has its day. Even the Salzburg think tank will have its day.
Maybe it's better, possible to understand because of the time that was shortly after the First World War. The Germans lost all the money in 1922, 23, the Great Depression, and so maybe it could have happened in other countries too.
But other countries did lose all their money during the Great Depression. Germany's not the only one.
Yeah, but we had a whole new currency. At the beginning of end of 22 or beginning of 23, $1 was 4.3 trillion Reichsmark. So everyone all his money before the Great Depression, and then the Great Depression came.
Can I have a sausage?
Oh, yeah.
And some mustard, yeah.
Coffee.
So you're going to upmarket tonight for your evening meal. You're going to the best restaurant, arguably in Scotland. Supposedly, perhaps, in northern Britain.
How far is it from here?
Depending, probably 30 or 35 minutes. Thank you. 30.
In the direction if you would go back to Dundee or up?
No. It's Dundee is that way. This restaurant is that way. It's in a little village right next to a pub. It's not owned by the same people, but it's right next to a pub. They won many awards. The chef, the son chef, not the father chef, is Scottish Chef of the Year a few times. And I believe he was even chef for all of Britain once. But it's run by husband and wife, which is the father and mother. And it's a French motif.
That is the Queen of England, the Queen of the whole UK,
Yeah, correct. All of Great Britain.
Scotland as well.
Yep. Correct.
How was it to meet her? Besides that it was the first time you did.
The first time I was presented to her at Hollywood Castle, which is in Edinburgh. Oh Christ, 25 years ago. And then I met her again in maybe 5, 6 years ago. Sally was in the hospital, and I was visiting her, and she was at the same hospital that the Queen was there to visit an old friend of hers. And we were both going in the back door, and when the Range Rover pulled up, and she got out of the car. She wears hats like this, and I was trying to see the name on the building. It had all kinds of scaffolding because it was being renovated the outside. And so when I turned around, I didn't see her. When I turned around, I bumped into her. Her hat hit my shoulder. Then I looked down. She's very short, and she doesn't. Oh, she only travels with 2 bodyguards, one extra car, and I said. Excuse me, Your Majesty. She said, oh, quite all right. Here to see a friend? I said, yes. And she said, you know, it's nice seeing you again. She said, it's nice seeing you again. I'm sure she doesn't remember, but I remember seeing her before. Very pleasant, very unassuming.
They are nominated by Laurel, aren't they?
Pardon?
They are nominated by Laurel.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Princess Anne was here last year. I think October. We let them use the pavilion for a charity thing, and she came and she's had tea with us, and we talked to her for a while. But nice lady. Interesting that the guy we were talking about committing in the SEAL team video that I got, he forwarded me in reference to my talk on commitment that very few people comment on that. The only one that commented to me was one that had been through it. You don't get comments because they can't relate. They think it's all like in the movies. But when I went through the training 40 plus years ago, it was brutal. They didn't let you, now they let you go home on the weekends. They let you see your kids and your wife. They only beat you 14, 15 hours a day, etc. When I went to it, they beat you 6 months, 24 hours a day. And it was a completely different experience. Still very effective. I mean, it's still the toughest training there is now, but it was, this was before politically correct. But since, you know, people have died in the training, people have sued the government, so now it's changed quite a bit.
In Romania, they canceled the compulsory military service 1 year before I was supposed to go through it. My father went through it and told me that he remembers as they had them for 1 week carry shit, human shit, from one place to another. And at first it was so strong they couldn't breathe. And by the end of the
You get
week,
used to it, yeah.
yeah, they were eating, they were having their meals right there.
As part of the training, they stake you out on an anthill. An anthill about half as big, ant, you know, where the ants that build up the ground, about half this big. They stake your arms and your legs, and they pour honey all over you, and they leave you for 3 days. Another one, they put you up on a tree and they tie a rope to your ankle or your wrist and they throw you out of the tree. And then when you fall and you snap your wrist or your ankle, then they come, if you're not unconscious, they take battery wires and they put them on your testicles to wake you up. That's a Salzburg special.
I don't think so.
You went through these two?
I went through, yeah, hell yes I did. To this day, my buddy, who's the best man at my wedding, when he sees an ant, if the ant is down there by the orange juice, he breaks out into a cold sweat.
The slowest one is when they put you in a bath full of water, and they put some normal things in there, food and things like that, and they keep you there until the bacteria eats you alive. You get digested in the bath.
Bon appetit.
How about some Salzburg strudel?
Just so everyone knows, we've booked the taxis for 7:30 again tonight, to take you to the restaurant, okay?
Thank you.
One way in which Vlad got peace for many years in Romania, it's like, you know, he stayed thousands of Turkish he had captured, and when they came again and saw that and heard them, they ran away because their screams were heard in the distance, and the Turkish army retreated because they didn't want to be captured and have that happen. They stopped.
Well, the reason why you go through this training is to teach you not to be captured.
Do they ever give you something to kill yourself fast in case you see?
No, that's a movie bullshit,
Cyanide.
but it's a movie. That'd make it easy.
Yeah.
That's James Bond bullshit.
Although that is how Hitler died, isn't it? Didn't he take a cyanide capsule or something?
Yeah, but he didn't wait, he put a bullet in his own head supposedly. just in case the cyanide capsule didn't work. He was probably thinking, when he put a bullet in his head, he was probably thinking of the guy that saved him and passed out. Like I said, we all got baggage. The sociopaths, psychopaths don't have baggage because they're deranged. Charlie Manson doesn't have baggage because his brain's not screwed in right. But if you're reasonably sane at all, which might eliminate some of you at this table, you've got baggage. You've got baggage. The sociopath, the psychopath, can kill their mother and their sister and their brother and not think anything wrong with it.
There was a tested genius in a prison, and he said he had the ability to turn it off.
Emotions.
Yeah. So he could feel for other people, but he could just turn it off.
I don't believe that, because I don't have much feeling and I can't turn it back on, so I would doubt that he can turn it off. But I mean, not having empathy or sympathy stood me in pretty good stead for a lot of years.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, except I was little. When I was real little, and as I told you yesterday, even though I say I was a mama's boy, my dad says, you know, you listen to your mom about that. That's not exactly quite accurate. But, because I was much closer to my mother when I was little than my dad. But, like my daughter was very close to her mom. And my boys were closer to me. And then as they gotten older, my daughter appears, it's early days, to be closer to me than her mother because she can relate to me, and that's why she's in Northwestern grad school and trying to do some of the
Do you
stuff.
think your military training played a big part in getting rid of the...
There's no question. There's no question. If I hadn't gone through that, it's the only high performance thing I ever did up until that point. I was a mediocre athlete. I was a mediocre student. At the beginning of the year, when school started in the middle of September, they give you books. I would put them in my locker. And when school ended on June 15th, I'd remove them from my locker and you could see the dust around them. I never opened the book. Take the test cold. And the fact that I had a B- average, I could sit asleep in class. Daddy, Peña. Huh? I wasn't listening. Okay, well pay attention for a few minutes. So I pay attention. What's the answer? It says 31.6 times pi. Can I go back to sleep now? And I did my first 3 universities that way, same thing. Flunked out all 3. I don't recommend that. And so I had so many D's and F's, I had to start school all over again. And I finished a 4-year degree in 2.5 years.
What's the story about your youngest brother?
Remind me, but we're being filmed. Yeah. I'll tell you about it later. But he's not as successful as his older brother or me. He's a good kid, but it appears that he's, not too disciplined. But to get back with you, he's happy. Not everybody, some people get unhappy trying to be something they're not. And that's what Bodo hit upon. That was his main selling point. It's not it for everybody. And he said it differently, but he just said, have more money in the bank, be able to take your 2 holidays a year. And he sold millions of people.
That makes you happy. And
Yeah.
For most people, that'll do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it made them happy. And at least intermittently made Bodo rich.
Yeah.
And so, it's again, narrow the focus like marketing. Narrow the focus and then fill that need. It's like Doris said when she came here, when she was going through her Germanic process, her Salzburg spreadsheet to go here, and then she had second doubts after she saw some of the shit on YouTube or whatever you saw, okay? And that keeps most people, but see, I don't want those people here. The real trick fuck, if I really wanted to make money off of this deal, and all the guys tell me the same thing, I don't need them to tell me.
You wouldn't put it on YouTube.
You fucking right. I would put it on YouTube and I'd write a book.
You want to have someone who has the balls to sustain it.
Yeah, and I'd write a book that said that it was moderately difficult. Moderately difficult. It wouldn't be a direct, absolute lie. I'd use the word difficult, but I'd say moderately difficult. And everybody thinks they can, how tough can moderately difficult, right? And then when they get it, I lower the fucking hammer on them. I cut their tits off and I shove them up the Salzburg spreadsheet. And then it's too late. It's like when I was a kid in the 60s, before AIDS and before condoms, once you get them in bed, under the sheets, it's too fucking late. Romance is over. It's too fucking late. You got them then. Once you get their knee between their thighs, they're fucking history. But I'm a kinder, gentler guy now. That's the tragedy of it all now. But yeah, I do just the opposite. My marketing guys that market our other stuff that also get involved once in a while. They changed my website and they've done all this other stuff in the last 2 or 3 months. You know, Dan, we could suck them into the funnel vortex. And you could put 300 people in the pavilion. I said, I don't want that. You know, and even if, you know, much more profitable, because this is so profitable. But this is just, you know, I enjoy it, and I occasionally get exposed to some deals that I want to do. It's better than when Sally and I had a fund, we were always interviewing deals and entrepreneurs, and Christ, it gets old. And you know, for every person that you sit down with, 1 out of 100, you're going to seriously consider the deal. So that means you got to go through 99 pieces of shit. And I mean, the first 2 or 3 years, I was all energetic like a beaver, chopping through wood. And then the 3rd and 4th and 5th year, Sally got tired before I did. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, fuck. And I look at my schedule, as they say, and I go, oh God, I got 11 appointments this week. Jesus Christ. And then I say, well, are any of them any good? I'd ask my people, I says, well, these are the 11 good ones. What do you think? And then, you know, I talked to one, and then Sally stopped going to come to the meetings. It's your decision. I don't give a shit what you do with that money. It's your decision. Then I lasted a couple more years. But then we had already made all these investments that we had to get out of. So now we're in 15, 20 deals. We need these deals like I need AIDS. Okay? The 1 or 2 I thought could, you know, none of them are going to change my lifestyle, no matter how much money I make. But now I'm professionally, I got to get out of them. I can't just walk away, and we're certainly not going to just go walk away from our money. And I didn't want to do the chicken shit thing about the clause, throw the guy out, or the gal out, because that's not who I am. Because I've been thrown out. Once you've been thrown out, you don't want to throw anybody else out.